Hi. So, um I want to talk to you a little about the methods that yoga uses. And like I've been telling you from before, that there have been three levels of practice in yoga. Huh. At the lowest level, which is called tapas, we are using the energy that is inside our own bodies. At the level of Shakti, we are using our bodies, but we are trying to connect it with the cosmic powers of mantra. And the highest level of practice is to understand the nature of mind. The third and the highest level of practice is to understand the nature of mind as it is. So, the practice of understanding pure mind which is not apprehending any object, but mind as it is natural and free. So, what some of the worshippers of Shiva, some of the masters, some of the Shaivite masters, uh, they created meditations, or they told us how we can recognize this pure consciousness, this natural state of mind. The natural state of mind is not something which is having any particular thought. The natural state of mind is that state which can have all thoughts. So, so what is the natural state of mind? The enlightened mind, it is also called. Now, what the Shaivite masters told us is that the enlightened mind is not something far away and distant, but the enlightened mind is something which is always there, which is always present, and it's because of this enlightened mind that the unenlightened mind, the limited mind, can exist. So, while the limited mind exists only in a relative sense, the enlightened mind exists in an absolute and complete sense. Which means, what they say is that at many moments in our lives, we apprehend the natural state of the mind, but because we are so busy and so fast, that we don't recognize it for what it is. So, one of the examples they give is meeting an old friend after a really long time. So, what happens when you meet an old friend after a really long? Like, you meet someone you weren't expecting to find them, and suddenly you see them, and you're surprised. And for a moment, you don't know what to do. For a moment, your mind goes blank. And you see a really old friend. Your mind goes blank. You can't think. You're like, oh. So when that surprise happens, then the mind goes back into its natural state. But we can't, we are not aware of it. It happens very quickly. Another example, they say, is when you take someone who is inside a confined space, a small space, a dark space. You stay inside a dark space for a really long time, a small space for a really long time, and suddenly you come out and you look at the sky. and you stare at the sky deeply. What happens when you stare at the sky? The sky is so much bigger than yourself. Yeah? The sky is also empty. That's why people like looking at the sky. That's why people like looking at the sea. Because when you look at the sky, when you look at the sea, you're already doing a meditation. You're contemplating infinity. Yeah? Your mind, instead of taking any particular form, just becomes formless for a small instant. And this formlessness of mind, this, I'll repeat, formlessness of mind, this formlessness of mind is there in at the end of the inhalation and at the end of the exhalation. So the end points of the breath, if you note them, if you inhabit them, if you stay there for longer, if you become aware of them, then you see that at those end points of the breath, there is a formlessness of mind. There is an emptiness of mind. And this emptiness is what meditators are trying to cultivate. This is what they are trying to achieve. This is what they are trying to unite with. So next time you want to meditate, go and look at the sky.